Hi guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to another video. Now in this one we're just going to be taking a look at a couple more old built kits from the collection. I'm just going to be doing a few more of these videos while I'm busy with other things in life, and I'm sorting through a lot of stuff in the collection at the moment, so as I'm finding this stuff I might as well show it. But yeah, from the thumbnail, obviously you know we're going to be looking at the Revell 57 Chevy. It's not going to be an unboxing of any kind whatsoever. I've only got this box out in front of me just because it's probably the last one I have in the collection, the last box one I have in the collection. But this kit dates back to 1962. I had an original issue box and up until about a month and a half ago, but I've just sold that one. And the contents of this kit ended up in that box. I listed it as an old box with a newer kit in it. And yeah, that one sold a few weeks back, and the reason I kept this one really is because all I wanted out of this kit was the decals. I just wanted the decals out of this one because I bought this with it in a big collection, and another kit that came in the collection was this one, which is a much nicer body. It's almost like the monogram 112 body scaled down. It's that close to it, but it's a really nice body is that one. So yeah, that's the only reason I've got this thing left. But like I say, we're going to be looking at a few built kits of this, and believe it or not, these are some of the oldest kits I remember building. I think in the late 80s there was the hot rod issue with the three Chevys in it, the 55 Chevy, I think it was the 53 Chevy and the 57 Chevy. That was in our local hobby shop for a good couple of years, and it probably because it was just so expensive back then. And I think I bought that when I was about 8 or 9. My mum let me buy that with my pocket money and what have you, and one by one I completely ruined them kits because they're so difficult to build. Yeah, I think the 57 Chevy out of that hot rod series, I ruined that one first, and then the 53 Chevy, I think I attempted a roof chop on it, and that got no further than chopping the pillars out of it, and that was ruined. And then yeah, the last one out of that kit is, and I'm not going to show too much on this one. I've found enough stuff today that I thought we can make another video out. But the 55 Chevy, I ended up using the body and building this Pro Street out of it, or Pro Stock. Took it to the Nebworth Hot Rod Show, in Stevenage, and won the junior class with it. But unfortunately, a couple of years later, I didn't like the colour, tried to paint it, put it in spray booth at work, and the body bent up like a pretzel. So yeah, that was the end of that. But I do still have, just while we're showing things in this, I do still have the most of the remains of that kit. Mainly the chassis. The body's completely gone, but I've got all the bits in the box, and to be quite honest, I've really wanted to recreate that model. I think I've got another picture there, like just an old Polaroid and what have you. But yeah, I mean, I've had this body sat on here ever since I started cutting the trunk lid out of it. And like I say, we're not going to show too much of it because I think with what I found today, we can probably sort of milk another video out of this one, but yeah, I mean, that's all that's left of it, but the reason I'm sort of toying with not putting this body on here is because this is actually one of my earliest kits. I've still got the original box to it. The 80s issue of the MPC 57 Chevy flip nose. And my dad actually built this kit for me, and I really want to restore that to how my dad sort of built it. Even though I've got other bodies, there's another like the main components, which was sort of showing me my dad's signature on that build model. You know, I think I'm real. That's why I've held off actually finishing this thing and completing it. But we'll have a look at the chassis and everything. It's all a scratch built chassis and what have you. And like I say, I was only 16 when I built that. And but the reason yeah, I mean, I've in all these years I've been looking for a builder 55, and I've had box 55s and what have you, and but I've just not found one rough enough to just use the body. Because I think I would like to rebuild that one as the 55 one day. But that's just a bit of my history with the sort of my first 57 Chevy, so to speak, with the Revell, that triple kit. But yeah, I mean, I found all these, and this is the kit my dad built and what have you. But yeah, I found a ton of old pictures from kits from my childhood. Couldn't use a camera to save my life, and yeah, that's that 55 Chevy I showed in that last one when it was first built, when I was a young whippersnapper and what have you. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, we'll have a look at that in more detail and go into the sort of history. I mean, look at what's left of my dad's build on that one, and yeah, that's one of the exhaust pipes off it just falling off there. But yeah, the reason we're doing this video is to look at Revell 57 Chevys, and yeah, I came across these, had these many years. There's one which I didn't build, one I restored. But yeah, just the reason why I don't really like this kit is I've never been a massive fan of this kit. Is, you know, everybody knows it's got such a gopping front end with the front bump, the big front bumper, and it was one of them kits which in 99% of the box art they always showed it from behind, whether it is the Nomad or the Coupe, just because that front end was so terrible, like. And yeah, you don't see many box arts with it showing the actual front end of the car, like. But despite all that, there's a couple which I've kept for a very long time. I mean, I started buying stuff from the States from eBay in the very late 90s, early thousands, and funnily enough, all the bodies, including the original body for that 55, ended up in my first ever auction on eBay. I shoved all the broken bodies I had and everything into one lot in the late 90s, about 97, 98 when I started that. And yeah, that was just another bit of history for that. You know, it was my very first auction was that, where I got rid of a lot of this my old stuff, like, and sold it for quite a bit. But yeah, I was importing a lot of kits from the States in, like I say, in the late 90s, early thousands, going through to the late sort of going up to like 2010, 2012, a little bit later maybe. But prices just with customs charges and everything else which came into it, exchange rates, they just really wiped out that for me. But yeah, I was buying quite a bit, and I was buying Survivors before Survivors were really, as popular as they are today. And this thing, I've just thought this was a really good example of, despite how awkward I would say this some of the aspects of this model looks, they still build into a lovely kit in the right hands. And this one was built in I think it was 1968. I'm pretty sure that's what I had it written down, because like I say, I bought a lot of nice old Survivors, and they all had dates on them, so I kept notes of dates on them, and I'm pretty sure this was 68, 69 when this was built. I think those are the wheels from the AMT 65 Riviera. I could be wrong, like, it might be a little bit later, it might be very early 70s when this was built. Should have looked in my book before I did this video, but yeah, late 60s, early 70s, we'll just say that, like, but this is original paint, everything on this model. You know, there's very little broken on it. I've always made sure I've protected this thing pretty well after I nearly dropped it, just to add a bit of drama to the video there. But yeah, this thing was put together so nicely. And like I say, though I'm not a massive fan of this kit, something has always made me keep this kit, just because I thought it was such a good example of how to put one of these things together really nicely and what have you, and you know, what doors operate on it and very nicely, and you know, the seats fold on this. I think you have to lift them up and then fold them forward. But yeah, they're all fully operational and what have you. And then I think you have to lift them up and then slot them back in, which I'm not going to struggle. There we go. But yeah, I mean, and the reason I probably wouldn't sell this is because it won't fetch more than anything else on eBay at the moment. You know, as a builder wise, you know, I don't think people would appreciate it for what it is, and you know, the trunk operates nicely and what have you. But yeah, I mean, say that survived for, you know, 50 years, that is now, isn't it? Yeah, 50 years for that thing's still in one piece. And like I say, the builder did a really, I'm assuming it's like AMT lacquer or something this was painted in. There's very little paint flaws in it, you know, it's not super glossy, but it's how they all were back in the day, like, you know, that's pretty much a show standard paint finish on a model for the late 60s and early 70s. But yeah, I mean, it's just a really nice one, that, and I just don't, even though I'm going through my whole collection at the moment, I'm doing a brand new inventory, and I'm going to be selling a lot of my old stuff. I really want to get back into an E38 BMW, and you know, I'm just looking at a lot of expensive art on the wall at the moment, and yeah, I'm having to be a little bit ruthless, but things like this I'm going to really struggle to actually sell. I think I'll always keep stuff like this in the collection. Like I say, it hasn't been built by me, but I just think it's a really nice piece of history. Somebody else's history did a really nice job on it. And I think as long as I keep appreciating that thing, I think it's always going to stay with us, is that one, like. So, but yeah, I mean, I should have bought a little turntable out or something, but yeah, I think that's a bit too far away for me to go and get. But then there was one which I restored. You know, I can't remember where this thing came from. I think it was it might have been actually from the same seller actually, and you know, the difference between the blue one and this one is, you know, that blue one held together really well, whereas, you know, this was pretty much falling apart, so I thought I'd carry on custom theme and just restore it. I think it had some really 70s, I think it was like the big wide 70s split AMT two-piece tyres on it with some mag wheels and what have you. But yeah, I just wanted to keep this one as well, like, and then I eventually restored it. I think I restored it in my early 20s, this one. I think I was working, I can't remember who I was working for at the time, but I remember I really liked the colour which was originally on it, the way the guy had built it before, and so I remember colour matching it, spending about an hour trying to get the colour right. So we got a good colour match on it in the end, and I just added some custom touches to it. But didn't stray far away from sort of the overall sort of look of the model, which it came to originally. Like, but yeah, I mean, like I say, to overcome the goppiness of that front end, we've got an AMT 57 Chevy front custom roll pan on it. The tips of the front headlamps have been taken back a bit. I can see on the stock one, they're a lot more prominent, more sort of reminiscent of a 56 Chevy sort of front headlamp arrangement, but they've been Frenched in and what have you. Rear fins completely reshaped. There is a little bit of ghost in here, but maybe one day I'll re-clear this, but I'm not, the sides just aren't too bad. I think the hood, it can be taken off and have a couple of coats of clear stuck on it, because it's starting to ghost a little bit where the hood spears have been shaven off and what have you. But yeah, I mean, going on to further onto the rear, 57, the original 57 grille has been Frenched into the rear roll pan. New roll pan made on this one. Trunk lid has been pancake, so to speak. The hinge, I think the hinge part fell off years ago. Like, so like I say, I've not really tried to get into doing anything with it. It sits on there nice enough without it, like. But yeah, just a really nice sort of, I think I had a few tools in there, and I think they've come off in the last 23 years or whatever, however long it's since I put this thing back together, like. And but the interior's original to how the builder originally did it. In fact, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking it's the same builder as that blue one, to be quite honest with you. But they did a custom interior with a custom centre console. It's hard to pick up and like focus in there, but yeah, the custom centre console going into 2 bucket seats on the back rather than a one-piece bucket seat. A one-piece bench seat rather, should I say. But on this one, yeah, I mean, surprisingly, I'm just going to take that off because it's just going to fall about. Like, surprisingly, doors still operate fully on this one after all this time, and yeah, but I just wanted to keep the interior exactly how it was, to be quite fair. I didn't want to touch that. Builder did a really nice job on that, so despite how crappy my filming is at the moment, like, you know, it was just that didn't need touching at all. It just needed a little bit of extra love elsewhere, like, and a few bits refining and what have you. But yeah, I mean, that's another one which I hold really dear. In fact, the same builder who did the 57 and probably did this one before I restored it, he did a 36 Ford, which was in a lot of magazines. Also World used it for the AMT to depict an AMT 36 Ford, and that one went overseas to a collector of all these old survivors. And yeah, really, I think I've shown a picture of that one before in a magazine, like. But yeah, I used to buy a lot of this old stuff, and some of them are restored like this, and some of them are just left as they are. If they were good enough to keep unrestored, then I would do, like. And but yeah, I mean, this is probably one of my favourite kits in the collection, built kits in the collection, this one. And I might just fettle it. I'm never going to fully restore this one again. I might re-clear the hood, fix a few little tiny bits on it, and then it can go in a bag for another 20 years before I have to restore it again. Like, so. But I just thought I was showing these a nice example of two ways how you can build these things, and parts you can use to overcome that let's say a little bit oversized front end, and it just, like I say, it just always looked a bit obscure to me. Did that one, like, so. Saying that, I mean, the 56 Chevy I really liked from Revell, to be quite honest with you. That was a nice kit, and obviously we got the newer tool Revell one, which kind of made that other one a bit redundant, but I did like the custom rear end and what have you in the original 56, and yeah, they were just really nice kits, to be quite fair. All the Tri-5s, and except from the 57, which I always thought was a little bit quirky, like. But you know, I think like I say, we'll probably do a few more of these videos. Like I say, I've got 14-15 drawers full of these with 15 or 16 kits in them each. Like, so, like I say, while I'm busy doing other things, we can just take a few of these things out of the archive and what have you. And like I say, I think what we'll do is I'll probably put a video together. I've been meaning to do a video on some of them builds from that competition, that model car show back in the 90s for a while, and I think I might show a couple of them separate like this, and do another bit of a two of a kind video, because when I used to build these things, I always used to build two at a time, because I could never decide whether I wanted it stock or custom, or if I wanted two versions of custom. So I'd always build two together, paint all the components together, and I was like, in that way I was sort of getting two kits for the same time I'd be building just one, like, so. But yeah, like I said, I've got loads more of these these old things, and the things like the blue one, that's just a really nice survivor, and you know, the copper one, you know, that's kind of a survivor which has just been reworked a little bit and tidied up a little bit to present a little bit further, a little bit better. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. We'll take a few snaps of these and put them at the end and what have you, and then yeah, we'll just keep doing a few more videos like this. I've probably got a bench update as well. I've got a few nice things in recently, which is going to help me start a project that we've had on the back burner for a while, so there'll be plenty more to see, and I'm trying to get at least 2 videos out a week. So appreciate everybody who's sticking by and watching these, like, and hopefully there'll be some more nice stuff for you to look at and potentially get ideas or inspiration for other builds, like. So yeah, whatever you're doing for the rest of the week, hope you have a good one, and we will see you in a few days time. Okay, see you, bye.